Hey everyone! Oh god, these jokes are just gonna get worse. Moana is back on the big screen in Disney's latest attempt at Toy Story Saga, a new franchise. As Moana, Maui, Heihei, Pua, and a whole new crew of wayfinders set out to stop a curse, but like a different curse this time. Yeesh, these islands just can't stop getting cursed, can they? But so much about Moana 2 is actually about Moana 3, as Disney has a bunch more Moana content coming our way, including a live-action version of the first movie. And while Moana 3 hasn't officially been confirmed at this moment, almost everything built up in Moana 2, including the story, the villains, the ending, the end credits scene, it's all pointing to Moana 3. So make sure to stick around till the end of the video, where I'll be talking about what might be in store for us beyond this trip to the hidden island of Matufitu. Now, Moana 2 takes place about 3 years after the events of Moana 1, where Moana even has a little sister. And in this time, Moana has become a full-blown wayfinder, searching island after island in an attempt to find other tribes of people. And it's in one of these wayfinding missions, Moana stumbles upon this piece of pottery, which is important as 1, the people of her island, Motunui, haven't learned how to make pottery like this yet, and 2, the engravings depict another civilization, and an island called Matufitu, essentially proving that there are other tribes out there. And this is the center of the entire movie as Moana brings this artifact back to her island, where she is struck with a vision from her ancestor Matai'Vasa, the ancestral leader and original wayfinder from the first movie who led his tribe to find Motunui. He tells Moana that unless she locates the hidden island of Matufitu and breaks the curse of the storm god Nalo, her people won't have a future. And we soon learn that Nalo is this big bad purple guy that's hidden Matufitu deep in the ocean and beneath a great storm, as Matufitu once connected the people of the ocean, and Nalo, despite being godly himself, is afraid of humans because, according to Chief Creative Officer of Walt Disney Animation Studios Jennifer Lee, humans can do anything. Essentially, this guy's the Moana version of Thanos, likely drawing inspiration from the Polynesian god of weather and storms, whose name is this, a name that I don't think a guy as white as me should dare try to pronounce correctly. Ultimately, it's up to Moana to stop him, which is a lot to take on for one now 18-year-old gal. So in other words, Moana,
the world needs you back something fierce.
And you need a crew.
But whereas in Moana 1, Moana sets out on her adventure all alone, well, almost all alone, this time Moana is assembling a crew. Loto, who repairs and maintains the canoe, Kele, a grumpy farmer brought to grow crops, Moni, a storyteller and Maui superfan, and this time even Pua comes along.
Boat snack upgrade! Bacon and eggs? Why didn't you bring the pig last time?
Who said fan voices aren't heard? Though now I need them to also bring along my guy Bua, cause are you gonna introduce this big boy and not give us more of him? And of course the crew wouldn't be complete without Maui himself, demigod of the wind and sea. Except he's nowhere to be found because he's a little tied up at the moment. So Moana and crew head out, following a fire in the sky guiding them to Matufitu. And they even run into some Kakamora, who normally seemed coconuts.
Bring it on, Coco Nuts!
Really? Blow dart in my butt cheek.
But when Moana learns that they too are just trying to find their home island, an island in the same waters as Matufitu, she turns to them and says,
I think an alliance might be a good idea. You know, help each other out. Do you want to form an alliance with me?
Absolutely, I do.
Good. Excellent.
which all leads to them getting sucked into this giant clam monster, one that just so happens to hold Maui and a mysterious Batwoman, no not that Batgirl, this one, Matangi, who seems to be guiding Moana's path more than she's letting on. The vision that strikes Moana, the guiding fire in the sky, Moana coincidentally finding Maui in this giant clam, the magic surrounding all of this carries the same art style and coloring, suggesting that Moana finding Matangi and setting out on this path perhaps is all a part of Matangi's plan. Matangi then tells Moana that she's helping her because she's been trapped by Nalo, so she allows the whole crew, including Maui, to escape through a portal of the gods, telling Moana to let herself get lost and that there's always another way. Moana then travels through the portal to face Nalo and his great storm, learning that in order to break his curse, a human must land on Matufitu. Here, however, Moana's connection with the ocean can't help her along. It's it's just up to them. Maui then plans to pull the island from the deep in the ocean, a power he described all the way back in the first Moana.
So what can I say except you're welcome for the islands I pulled from the sea?
While the rest of the crew sail towards the island to land. However, Nala knows that the real threat isn't Maui, it's the humans, and so he focuses his storm on them instead of Maui. Eventually, Maui is able to pull the ocean part way, but not enough, and Moana remembers the words of Matangi.
See, Cupcake? There's always another way.
Wait, that's the wrong ocean movie, but you get my point. Moana dives into the waters and barely touches the island, breaking the curse, bringing back Matafitu, and reuniting the other lost tribes, but seemingly dying in the process. However, thanks to Maui, the spirits of Moana's ancestors, and her connection to the ocean being restored, Moana is revived and seemingly transformed into a demigod just like Maui, except instead of her powers being channeled through a hook like Maui's, hers are stored in her oar. But is that it? Is that all it took to take down Nalo? Are the oceans safe from storms and big baddies like Te Kā forever? Well, no, far from it, as a post-credit scene with Nalo and Matangi indicate things are far from done, with him stating that this is only the beginning in what's sure to be a story of revenge against Moana in a potential third movie. We also see that despite Matangi's efforts, Nalo remains in control of her even though Matangi states she technically didn't break any of his rules. So it seems like there are terms to Matangi's imprisonment and she may act as a reluctant adversary to Moana in the future. But like she stated before, there's always another way. And I expect that should we see a Moana 3, Matangi will eventually break free from Nalo's hold and turn to Moana's side against him, where now that Moana is a demigod, she might be powerful enough to take on Nalo. Oh, and of course the end credits scene also includes the return of Tamatoa, the giant blue crab obsessed with all things shiny and who's surely ready to get revenge on Moana and his longtime adversary Maui. But I'm mostly interested in Matangi, and she remains the biggest mystery while also playing such a big role in what Moana 2 is all about. Her song Get Lost and advice for Moana mirrors Moana's, Maui's, and the wayfinding crew's journey through the movie. That sometimes if we don't explore, try new things, and dive into the unknown towards dangerous new paths, we won't grow, change, or overcome our fears. Maui learns not to be overly protective of Moana and the humans. Moana learns that sometimes wayfinding isn't about finding what's already there, but about finding what hasn't been found before. Each of the crew members cast aside their fears in order to save the day and grow from it. And Hey, well yeah, Hey doesn't actually learn a thing. So thanks for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. And until next time, remember...
Bring it on, Coco! Nuts!